What is up, Packer fans? So, Brian Gutekunst and the Packer organization, they're going to be faced with a big choice to make. What's the big choice I'm talking about? We're going to get into that, guys. Before I do, guys, take a second, please, to subscribe. And also, I really want your comments in this video. I really want you guys to leave your comments. If you're good to the Packer organization, what would you do with faced with this decision? So let's get into it, guys. We all know that Patrick Taylor and Corey Ballantyne, they were brought up from the practice squad this past game versus the New Orleans Saints. They ended up playing pretty big roles for their team in this victory. We all know Carrington Ballantyne went out with a bicep injury, which then Corey Ballantyne was then, filled in very nicely into that role. Patrick Taylor, same thing. Aaron Jones is out. He ends up playing a big role in the fourth quarter. So Patrick Taylor. Okay, so let's talk about this guy. Of course, he took an active spot for Jones in the fourth quarter, and we're going to talk about that. But here's the problem that the Green Bay Packers are faced with. And due to the NFL rules, a player can only practice squad 3 times in a season without being added or assigned to the 53-man roster, which means that if Green Bay wants to use Taylor again at all for the next 14 games this season, they're going to have to sign him to the 53-man roster. So let's get into it, guys. What do the Packers do with being forced or faced with this big choice? Okay, so one hand, you have Emmanuel Wilson, an undrafted free agent, looking very good. So he showed himself to be very good in practice, very good in joint practices. Preseason, he looked fantastic. Saw the breakout speed that he had. So I was one of the guys first in line to be like, okay, I'm super excited that the Packers added him to the initial 53-man roster. Super excited about that because I think that this guy, given his breakout speed and given his shiftiness, we all saw that he is a big playmaker, and that's really big in the NFL. So I think this guy has a spot on a roster somewhere in the NFL. I was hoping it was going to be with Green Bay, and it still may be. So that's Emmanuel Wilson, and that's his kind of breakdown. And then we also have Patrick Taylor. Okay, so Patrick Taylor is a guy that this is his 3rd season with the Green Bay Packers, and we all know that he rushed for 1,100 yards, 16 touchdowns, averaging 5.4 yards a carry his junior year at Memphis in 2018. He was tied in the country with 9 rushing touchdowns. And then he was also tied for 7th in the country with total touchdowns, receiving and rushing. That being said, this guy knows how to get into the end zone, okay? And he's no stranger, as you saw in the fourth quarter, okay? He's not a stranger of if he needs to catch the ball and do something in the open field, he can do that, okay? So that's another guy that we're talking about. So let's look at A.J. Dillon, okay? You got this Boston College stud, okay? We all know that A.J. Dillon, he's entering his last season on his rookie contract, which means the Packers are going to be forced with, okay, do we sign this guy? Do we not? We all know his resume. The guy has looked really good. He's got tree trunks for legs. He's really hard to bring down unless he's bringing himself down by just fumbling over his feet, which he's done a few times this season and throughout his career. That being said, I absolutely love A.J. Dillon. Okay, so hear me out on this, okay? I know everybody's going to be like, hey, have you seen video breakdown that the O-line does not block for this guy? You're right. They haven't been blocking him. They haven't been blocking for Patrick Taylor or Emmanuel Wilson either, right? So Emmanuel Wilson hasn't looked good the few times he's gotten the ball this season. Either has A.J. Dillon averaging 2.7 yards a carry. So, but here's the thing. This guy, he's better than that, okay? Or at least he should be better than that. So where is he in the fourth quarter? Packers have him on the sideline. That's concerning to me. That's not concerning from the Packer organization benching him, but concerning because they see that, okay, this guy is not bringing what we need in a change of pace guy like Patrick Taylor, a guy that can catch the ball, a guy that can be really shifty. A.J. Dillon is a north and south type of runner, and he's going to get you, your yard or two if he needs, and he's going to carry 7 guys on his back. But I think the Packers, I shoes, okay, so Emmanuel Wilson, I think, would fit in fine. I really do. Patrick Taylor is going to fit in very nicely. I think having Aaron Jones and Patrick Taylor, just those change of pace back, not change of pace backs, but guys that can do multiple things out on the field. I think that's going to be what the Packers really need to do this season. They're quick, so why not continue to add the speed? AJ Dillon's not crazy quick. Patrick Taylor is quicker than AJ Dillon, and he's got better hands and all that stuff. I think they need to keep and sign him to the 53-man roster. I'm not saying obviously you let go of AJ Dillon, but I do think they need to explore the option of using him as trade bait because he would make fantastic trade bait. And at the end of the day, do I see the Green Bay Packers throwing it for the season only to be a third down back or a change of pace back or to give Aaron Jones a breather? I really don't. I don't see them doing that. I think Emmanuel Wilson would fit in fine with that, and they're not paying him to do that. So that being said, that's my take, guys. I want you to weigh in. What would you do if you were the Packers, organization? They're going to be faced. This is a big decision that they need to make because obviously, Patrick Taylor is just too good, especially if they used him in the fourth quarter. They trusted the guy. He's just too good to just, throw in your practice squad. I think they need to add him to the 53-man roster. But I think you're going to see Emmanuel sit, just added to the 53-man roster. That being said, let me know, weigh in your comments, what you guys think. Go Pack.